John straight away to tell you his story.
Well, thank you, Mandy, for that lovely introduction. Firstly, I'd like to thank the Language Learning Disability Special Interest Group for inviting me here tonight. I'll be sharing you what I went through personally, emotionally and physically throughout my education and throughout my career. There are 5 key elements which I persist in for me to be as successful as I am today. And they were the direction I took in each stages of my life, the strategies which I implemented to overcome my daily challenges, to build on self-belief and confidence, to say to myself, yes, I can achieve whatever I put my mind to. And most important is accountability, to take responsibility for your own actions. Now, I'll take you back when I was at kindergarten. I spent 3 years in kindergarten. The first year kindergarten, I couldn't speak at all. So the form of communication I took was I used to mime a lot to my family and friends. The second year of kindergarten, I could only say a few simple words. The third year kindergarten, I could only put basic sentences together. But yet, as a little boy, I was still frustrated that I couldn't express myself properly. So I started speech therapy at the second year kindergarten, and I consistently followed that speech therapy right through to grade 6. I started primary school at 6.5 years of age, and the 2 main years in primary school that I do remember is grade 5 and grade 6. Now you're probably asking me tonight, why is it that I only remember grade 5 and grade 6? Well, to answer that question, grade 5 and grade 6 were the most painful years for me, personally, emotionally and physically. Here I was, a little boy in the education system in those days with a hidden disability that teachers poorly understood. In those days, in the education system, they had one standard or level of education for all the students, and you had to meet that standard. So for me to meet that standard, I had to consistently work day in, day out, through my lunchtime, through my playtime and homework after school. So you could imagine what effect that had on me as a little boy. I was very isolated from my student peers. I was singled out, being different. I was teased, I was picked on, just because I was trying to do the right thing by my education. So you could imagine, I couldn't wait until I got out of primary school. So there was one request I requested from my parents, and that was, do not send me to a high school with any of my ex-primary school students. Now you could imagine, that eliminated a lot of local schools in my local area. To give credit to both my parents, they did a lot of research and they found a technical college which suited my learning. Now this technical college had the academic side of the education system, but it also had the practical side of the education. Now when I was in year 7, it was a fresh start. Why? Because none of my student peers knew that I had a disability, and I was achieving straight away. So in my mindset at year 7, my dream was I want to be a carpenter. So I did up to year 10, knowing that I was academic limited. Now throughout high school, I always had a professional tutor to tutor me through the academic subjects, during the school hours and during after school hours as well. So I did up to year 10, then I studied further and went to TAFE, and I studied the 8 different trades in the building industry because I wanted just to make sure that carpentry was the right trade for me. Again, I struggled in the academic side of the TAFE system, but I excelled in the practical. I did. And then I started my apprenticeship. Now, coming from a structured environment, which is the TAFE environment, which is a step-by-step process to get the outcome, going to a building site where you've got 4 to 5 different elements of carpentry happening at once. But not only that, you also got the direction of your boss telling you what to do on a consistent basis. So I've got all this information coming at me all at once, and my mind could not process that fast enough to get the outcome the boss was after. So again, I was making silly mistakes. Part of my mind, part of my body was talking down, was saying, Dom, you know, things aren't working out, I was getting frustrated, I was getting angry. The other part of me was saying, keep at it, Dom, keep at it. So I thought, why don't I change bosses? Why don't I get another builder? And that's what I did. I went out there to search for another builder. So meanwhile, while I was working at my dream, I got a casual job on the side. Now bear in mind, getting my first casual job was a major task. I got rejection after rejection after rejection. Then one afternoon, the phone rang. And it was my uncle. He was short in his restaurant and he asked me to come in. So that there, ladies, I got my foot in the door in the hospitality industry. I did. So it was so hard to come to terms that my dream was shattered in the carpentry. Why? The second attempt of my apprenticeship, the same result was happening day in, day out. So again, I hit that depression mode again. I did. I hit that victim mode, thinking that people out there don't understand me, thinking that, you know, I'm a failure. But the other half of my body and the other half of my mind saying, Dom, what are you good at? You seem to enjoy hospitality. Why don't you pursue a career in hospitality? So I picked up my self-belief, my confidence, my self-esteem, picked my whole body up and moved and changed direction. I did. Now, every hospitality job I took on throughout my career, I worked from the bottom and worked myself up. Why? Because that was the best way for me to learn. It was. Now I was with in my uncle's restaurant for about 4 years, and I could really see myself pursuing a career in hospitality because I was enjoying it. I was getting results instantly. And then my new dream in life was I wanted to open my own cafe, my own business. Now you could imagine my parents' reaction to that idea. So one afternoon I sat Mum and Dad down. I said, Mum, Dad, my new dream now is I want to open my own business, my own cafe. You should have seen the reaction. The eyes kind of popped out and went back in. But I said, Dominic, how are you going to cope? How are you going to cope with all the different procedures in running a business? Which is so true. And I said, I'll get a business partner to help me out. Because at the end of the day, I know where my strengths are, but I also know where my weaknesses are as well. So both of my parents could see that I did think of a strategy to get to that dream. So every hospitality job I had throughout my career, I always had good bosses and good mentors to help me work on new strategies, to overcome the challenges, to get the result that the boss was after. It is. Now, I started the hotel industry when I was 22 years of age. And I was in the hotel industry for about 7 to 8 years. And the first hotel job I got, I was there for 4.5 years. And I looked at one of the bosses as a mentor because we were working for that period of time. And on the third year, I could see significant changes in how he approaches his work because we were working together for 3 years. And I sat him down one night and I said, you know, you have changed a lot. And he said, what do you mean? I said, you have changed in how you have the ability to negotiate conflict between your workers. You have changed in how you are able to build rapport with different personality types. But not only that, you come to work, you do 12 to 13 hour a day, you are faced with so many challenges, so many problems, but yet at the end of the day you still have a smile on his face. Whereas in the past he never did. And he said, you know, I said, what made you change? He had a little smirk on his face and he said, Dom, I did a personal development program. Now when he said that word to me, it was all new. I never heard of personal development. So I asked a couple more questions and I said, I've got to do it. So I took action, I took time off work and took myself to Sydney. I was really excited because going to Sydney by myself, I've never done it before. So anyway, I took myself to Sydney. It was a very intense course. It was a 4-day event. And I came back And both my parents noted that I was a lot calmer sort of person. I had a better understanding that in life things do take time to achieve. The major tool I learned from that program, and it's a major tool because I work in the hospitality industry, is that people out there have different rules and different belief systems in how they see life. And we all have different life experiences. And having a better understanding how to build rapport with different people, with different life experiences, with different personality types is a major tool for hospitality. Why? Because you're dealing with people on a daily basis. You are. So, another major point I learned was, it's okay to be you. It's okay to be you, authentic you. You don't have to put a mask in front of you, be someone else. It's okay to be you. You will succeed in whatever you do. So, I went back to the hotel industry and worked there casually. I did, because I had a dream. My dream was I wanted to open my own business. So I went out there searching, and believe you me, I got rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection. In my mind, I knew the more rejection I get in life, the closer I am to my dream. So meanwhile, while I was looking for my own business, I was looking for my own personal coach, and I found one. And what I did with this personal coach was, I took action and I implemented all the learnings from that personal development program, and I took action and I practiced them with my personal coach for 3 years. That's right, ladies. I was looking for a business for 3 years, non-stop. So I put into practice different areas of life. So I put into practice different areas of business. I put into practice inner growth within me. I put into practice in having a healthy lifestyle, like eating well. I put into practice in how money works for you. And I also put into practice when the time came, when I meet that someone special, to have a better understand how to keep a passionate relationship between a man and woman, I'll be ready for it. Because see, in my eyes, a successful human being is a human being that has balance in life. And I guess every human being strives for that, because that's what makes us all happy. It does. So, I've lost my train of thought. So basically,
You're telling us about your personal coach.
My personal coach, and yes, okay. And so yeah, so basically, here I am in 2011 at Shango Cafe. You can watch me multitask without having any problems. You've got to remember, I built this business from scratch 4 years ago. I did. So I had to have the input of the design of the cafe. I had to put in procedures so the cafe would run smoothly. I had to organise all the furniture. I had to order all the equipment, all the stock. I did. I had to train all my workers from scratch to provide the service that I was looking for. And I also had to write up a food healthy safety program as well to meet council regulations. It does. So I'm in business now, okay? At this present moment, I'm in business now. But please, bear in mind, if I didn't do 3 years of that coaching prior to that, I would not be here tonight speaking in front of an audience such as yourself. Why? There is so much pressure on a daily basis in owning your own business. And understanding how you manage that pressure, understanding how you manage that risk, understanding how you manage your emotions around your workers, around your customers, around your family members, and around your partner. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to affect any of them, because that'll affect your business. And that's a major tool, and I practiced that in that 3 years of training. I practiced how to keep my emotions all tied up with different techniques so I can keep the business running, or keep my relationship keep happening with my family or with my partner. So you got to remember, this is not a short-term process, okay? It's a long-term process. It's taken me 16 years to get where I am today. It does take time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to slowly, or very quickly, I should say, slowly, that'd be a bit of a way. Anyway, I'm going to very quickly go through the 5 elements so you can see how it all glues together to where I am today. So element number 1 was the direction I took in my career. First part of my career was, my dream was I want to be a carpenter. I changed direction and I went to hospitality. My dream was to open my own business. The strategies, 2 parts of strategies that were very important to me, and a 3rd part of strategies which I will share with you. So the first part of strategies is, remember the time at kindergarten, right from 2nd year kindergarten right through to end of grade 6, I had speech therapy. From year 7 to year 10, I had ongoing tutoring to tutor me through the academic subjects, plus I had tutoring after school. When I started my hospitality career, I had good bosses and good mentors to help me work on new strategies to overcome the challenges to get the result that they were after. And then when I was looking for my own business, I had my own personal coach to practice different areas of life. And to this day, even though I'm in business, to this day I still have a mentor. Why? Because I want to get to the next level in life. I do. Now can I ask, where did I crumble in my career? Where did I fail in my career? That's right, the building industry. Why? Because I didn't have any mentors mentor me through the challenges which I was faced. I didn't have anyone to help me work on new strategies to overcome the challenges to get the outcome that the boss was after. So I stress there, it's very important for employers of businesses, of corporations, to have a better understanding that when you employ an adult, you've got to implement certain strategies to suit that individual, because at the end of the day, every human being learns differently. They do, and I use that in my own company. I do. I understand some of my workers work at a fast pace, some of my workers work at a slow pace. I understand. I give them time. Why? Because I've gone through that process. I have. Okay. Second part of the strategy is the support structure. My family were committed on a daily basis. They were committed on a weekly basis. They were committed on a yearly basis. Year in, year out. And that's what I'm saying. It's not a short-term process, it's a long-term process. Remember the time when I was in grade 5 and grade 6, I had to work so hard, but I never got the marks that I was after. I never got A's or A pluses. And I used to go to my mum, and I used to say to her, Mum, why is it that I have to work so hard, but I don't get A's or A pluses? The very wise woman my mother was said to me, Dominic, we all have different gifts. And when she said that as a little boy, and I said, gifts, what is she on about? So as a little boy, as her son, as what sons usually do, is challenge their mother. I go, okay, Mum, what gift do I have? And her response to that was, Dominic, you have the gift of persistence. You never give up. You always stick at things. I went, as a little boy, my mindset was totally different to what it is today, as you know, as a little boy. And when she said persistence, number 1, I didn't know what that meant. And number 2, that doesn't give me A's or A pluses. And that's what I said to her. I go, well, Mum, I prefer to have other gifts so I can get A's and A pluses a lot easier. Well, common sense would say. But her response to this, now, I've taken this next statement with me for the rest of my life. It's so true. Okay, her response to that was, Dominic, there are people out there that waste their gifts. And isn't that so true? There's people out there that don't use their gifts to the full potential. They just waste them. So I stress to everybody, families out there, families of friends who know any young teenagers or young kids with learning difficulties, always dwell on the strengths. Always dwell what they're good at. Because that's what my family did for me. They always dwelt on what my strengths were, and I used my strengths to overcome my weakness. But you've got to remember, you've got to do it for the long-term effect. You can't do it a week there and then miss out a couple of weeks and a week there. That won't work. Because at the end of the day, you consistently do it, especially the young children with loved ones around them, they'll build up a self-belief and confidence that they're worthy in this world. And it'll make them feel, more love and more confident, and they'll believe in themselves, which is so true. And that's what's happened to me. It is. Then the third part of strategies which I would like to share with you is teachers out there are slowly educating themselves in different signs of different learning difficulties. Parents out there, please, if teachers ask you to get your child assessed, I want you to take immediate action and get your child assessed. It's all well and good. If your child does not have a learning difficulty, that's all well and good. But if your child has got a learning difficulty of some sort, you can implement the new strategies at an early age, so you give that young child the opportunity to have a better understanding how he or she learns the best at an early age. So therefore they can live to the full potential. Why? I'm living proof of that. I am. So, again, parents out there, there's nothing wrong with me physically. It's all internal. And having a better understanding what buttons to press in my mind at what times is the new strategies you can implement to create the life that they're after. I fully understand that there are different disability types out there in this world. But I fully believe that there is a purpose for everyone in this world. They just got to believe in themselves and be confident and be focused, and they will achieve whatever they want to achieve. Now, as some of you may know, there was a newspaper article written up about me last year in May 2010. And meanwhile, while this newspaper article was getting written up, I thought, in my mindset last year, I thought that there were other young adults similar to me with similar disabilities as what I have, and I thought they've achieved as much as what I have, or if not, much more. But when the newspaper hit the public, and the feedback I got from different circles of family and friends and from my customers was that was not the case. The case was, and this is really hard for me, the case was that you got young teenagers out there, you got young adults out there with learning difficulties, right? And they've got a goal, right? So this piece of paper is their goal, right? They're focused on getting that goal, right? They work so hard, and the thing is, they hit a brick wall. And what happens? They get into the dark zone. What happens? Depression, depress, or victim mode. And they stay there. And that's sad. That really hit home with me. They say stay there. Why? Because they're not living to their full potential. Because they don't have the right support structure. So, last year in October and November, I said to myself, I've got to take some sort of action here. I can't let this be. I can't. Last year in October or November, I went to the Spout organisation, and I sat the president down, and I said to them, why don't we implement a mentor program for these young adults and young children out there? Give them the opportunity to build rapport with someone who's actually gone through all the hell of what they're going through right now. But I've achieved something. And that's really important for them, to see someone in person that has achieved something in life. Will get them in a different mindset that they can achieve whatever they put their mind to. Because they're more touch and feel. Like me, I'm more a touch and feel sort of a person. If I see someone in front of me who's gone through the same life experiences, I'll go, yeah, I'm listening to you, yeah, I'm following whatever you say. Because we've gone through the same life experiences. I guess that's why I'm here tonight. Because my new vision now is just to see a young adult or young teenager out there to have a taste of success would bring a tear to my eye. And why would it bring a tear to my eye? I'll tell you why. See, the thing is, the outside society in this big world, doesn't understand how hard these young teenagers and adults with learning difficulties have to work on a daily basis to work on new strategies to overcome the challenges to get to that goal. They've got to work really, 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 really hard. And the outside society doesn't understand that until they're involved in it. Now there's two parts of support structure I'm going to give. I'm supporting the young teenagers out there, young adults with learning difficulties, but at the same time I cannot forget the young parents. And that's the thing. Until one of those parents are involved in the situation that their young child has been diagnosed with a learning difficulty, it's all overwhelming. Why? It's their first child. They don't know what to expect. So they need support there as well. And that's why I'm going to be involved there as well, to support both ends of it. So I'm just closing my eyes now. I'm just picturing this young adult who is standing so proud, he or she's got his shoulders really proud, standing strong, smile to ear, and really happy. Just to see them to have a taste of success would bring a tear to my eye, because I understand what they've been through on a daily basis. And I guess that's why I'm here tonight, to share my life experiences. But not only that, remember the time when Mum said to me that, Dominic, there's people out there that don't use their gifts to their full potential, they just waste them. Well, I'm given the opportunity to use my gifts to the full potential, and that is, I'm going to share my persistence with others. And that's the conclusion to my talk. Well done, John. No, that's okay.
Now, Dom's very happy to take questions.
Yep.
And he's also bought his material.
Yes.
Perhaps you could just explain what you bought.
Yep, okay.
Have a look.
Cool, no worries.
You've just
Yep, okay. Okay, so what I've done is, I've bought all my paperwork from a personal coach, what I did during the duration of the time of when I was looking for my own business. So it covers a big variety of different areas of my life, and I've separated individually, so therefore everybody can kind of have a look and see what sort of process I went through. And I can't forget the back. The back paper most important. Yeah. And also there's 2 books of the personal development program that I did as well, so you can see what sort of courses I had to implement. In time. Very polite. How cool. There you go. Here you go. There you go. You can pass them on. So take your time in reading and all that. And like Mandy said, if there's any questions, don't be too hesitant. Oh, okay. Okay, just before we start, right? I've got to ask for your patience, okay? Because I'm going to give you a live example of what my disability is really about. I mean, you guys are saying, what are you on about? You did this talk really well. Yeah, of course I did. Why? I practiced it for a month, every day, at my shop, every day. So of course, I know what to say. But the thing is, I don't know what sort of question you guys are going to ask me tonight. So just give me patience. I might even ask you to rephrase the question because I don't understand it. But yeah, I just thought I'd let you know. Okay? So if you do ask me questions and I don't answer straight away, don't be scared. I'm just thinking about it.
Thanks. So Dom, I'm just wondering how you found your personal coach. How did you go about? We hear about life coaches.
Yeah.
I've not had any experience with one myself, but how did you go about, especially how long ago? Sorry.
How long ago?
I'm asking too many questions.
No, so
My
how
question
long
is,
ago?
how did you find your life coach, your personal coach?
Well, through networking, and as we all know, if you broaden your network, right, it's not what you know, it's who you know to get you places. And I was very lucky because I got it through a best mate of mine. His mother started her own life coaching. I said, why not? Give it a go. And that's how it all started. I was her first client. I know. How about that? She's grinning ear to ear at the moment. So yeah, so basically that's with anything, with any of my contacts, and that's how I got the business opportunity through network of people. It is.
Dom, it sounds like from a young age you were always quite aware of your learning profile, and I guess I wondered, at some point did you ever ask anyone questions, or more specifically as to why it took you longer to learn things? Was there a certain age at which you really wanted to know or wanted more explanations?
No, I guess I accept it for what it is. I'm the sort of person that accepts life for what it is and whatever challenges that you'll face. Because see, at a young age, right, I was working, you know, non-stop. That's what I thought life was all about.
What about when you spoke to Florence and I last year?
Last year?
Remember when we had that meeting?
Ah.
And you asked us about things.
Was that
I think that was the first time Dom actually asked about his disability, was last year.
Was it last year? I thought it was this year.
Oh, this year. Well, sorry.
Oh, shoot! Last year.
Just to share with everyone your response.
Yes. No, it was this year. It was 2011. I met Florence for a long time, which was my speech therapist, and we sat down because we sat down to talk about my disability before I started my first talk. So I've done a very similar talk with the Sprout organisation, and we actually sat down before we did this talk. And when Florence really gone through what sort of disability I was actually gone through, I kind of was shocked because I didn't expect it to be that bad. And then at the end of the day, I was really surprised. I've achieved this much. It's a miracle. It is, and that's why I'm quite happy where I am at the moment, because I wasn't supposed to achieve this much. I wasn't. And I was dumbfounded when she said how serious it was. I thought it was quite mild. I did. But that wasn't the case. And I remember that night, I couldn't sleep. I was too dumbfounded. I was going, wow. But yeah, it was a very proud moment for me, but a very proud moment for my parents as well, and my family, for that support structure. See, it can be achieved. Anything can be achieved if you've got the right support structure, and you get it at an early age, right? Yeah, things can be achievable, I guess.
So you weren't upset that you didn't know earlier? That no one had spoken to you?
No, because I just accepted it as it was. I did.
Hi Dom. I work in a high school, and I was wondering what advice or strategies could you give my students to help them get through high school?
In general?
In general, yeah. What could you tell me now that I could tell my kids to make them feel?
Well, like I said to them before, I understand that. Like I said to you before, they've got to accept themselves for who they are, right? They can't be anyone else. but themselves. First they've got to be comfortable living life within themselves before they can learn and expand their mindset. But it's so hard in high school, why? It's student peers, peer pressure. And you know what makes it even worse? The media. Not the media, but the actual, I'm talking about media profiles in computers and technology out there, like Facebook and stuff like that. It just makes social network. Thank you. Well done. Good teamwork. Social network makes it harder for that young teenager at high school. And it makes it more challenges for that individual. It does. And it could get worse unless the government comes involved and stamps it out in high schools and on iPhones or iPads, which I do suggest. Because at the end of the day, they're there to learn. They're there to expand their mind to get the career that they're after. They are? That's a good question. I never had that one before.
Dom, could you just say a little bit more about in your late teens when you went through a period of depression when you realised that you couldn't do the carpentry, just that was a difficult time. You spoke about it one other time. Can you think of anything else I just think it might help in answer to that question.
Well, I guess when it came to terms that carpentry wasn't the right thing for me, that was the hardest moment for me. That was. Because I really did feel down and things like that. But at the same time, I guess another time when I got into the dark zone was when I was trying to get my first casual job. I got really depressed. I really did. I got so down. My parents couldn't go with it. So they helped me trying to work the family network to get that job. Because I really was down for a long time. And that's the same process happened through when I was an apprentice. It was. And during TAFE as well, because I knew I was struggling in my apprenticeship. And by me struggling in my apprenticeship, I kind of isolated myself from the other students, because I thought to myself, well, no one will want to know a person that fails in their apprenticeship. So I kind of steer clear of the social around me and be by myself, because that's what I did know. So I actually sat down and thought about that process, and I did actually do that in TAFE. That's why I didn't have many TAFE friends. I did. I stayed my own to try and keep myself focused. But at the same time, I was in that down period as well. And I guess it's hard for, especially high school students, because the resources out there are so limited for you teachers. How many students do you have in a class?
I'm a bit scared.
But say 20, 4 or 5?
In a regular class. Oh, in a
regular classes, 25? Yeah, regular classrooms. Okay, 4 and 5. You still need the time to put into to that individual. You only got a certain amount of time per individual, per day, per week. And the government has to step in to put more money, pump more money into speech support, into the actual program, and he'll get more results. And he'll create more jobs and make our economic climate really well.
I have a question.
Okay.
Ma'am? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Just over here.
Thank you.
It was all right for you.
I don't think this is switched on. You should have turned it up. Yes, I think it's all right. I'll speak up. I think we'll speak up here.
I don't think it was when the question was to tell the young people to be themselves. Now, if some of these young people are feeling depressed and useless and hopeless and I'm no good, so what do you say to the teachers to try and encourage them to think better of themselves?
Okay. Now I understand that. Okay. so basically what you have to do is, I guess you pull them aside and say to them, number one, what are they passionate in life? Number two, who do you mentor off? Who do you look up to? Who's your closest mentor to you? It could be their brothers and sister, it could be their uncle, it could be their cousin. And you know what you do? You get them to see them on a weekly basis, and even get them to jot down goals, have little goals, so therefore they're making themselves accountable for their own actions. And that'll strive them into achieving more in life, because they're going to that great mentor that they admire, and they're going, you know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then this mentor has to have the right strategies in place to say, okay, you've got to do this is what I suggest, have a try. And why? Why would he do that? It goes back to self-belief and confidence. It does. There's two parts actually in my speech that I missed out on. I just realised. But anyway, I'm going to say it now. Anyway, the elements. I only did the strategies, but I forgot the self-belief and the accountability elements. I did. I just remember that. Anyway, I'm going to say it now. Okay? So, confidence and self-belief, right? Who would have thought I'll be here speaking in front of an audience such as yourself? I've opened myself right up tonight. I'm very vulnerable, but yet I'm still standing strong. Why? Because I'm comfortable in my own skin. I am. And lucky last element was accountability. I'm accountable for my business. I'm accountable for my workers to work in a safe work environment. I'm accountable for my company. If my company makes a loss, I would have found my own personal money to make up the difference for that. I do. And the most important thing I'm accountable is my disability. That's right, ladies. I take ownership of that disability, and it's a part of me for the rest of my life. And guess what? I'm very proud of that. The thing is, if I push that disability away from me, I'm pushing a part of myself away from me. I thought I had to include that. Because that's a really key thing.
One more question.
Yep.
If the microphone works. First of all, Dom, I'd just like to say that you've been really inspiring tonight. But what I'm really impressed about were your comments when you actually sat down your boss, and the assertiveness to take on that role was truly inspiring. But you must have been a very good people watcher. So even though you obviously, throughout your life, haven't necessarily had the communication skills on speaking, you obviously noticed a lot of things that are going on. Do you think that is the case? Do you think that you're taking a lot of things in?
Yeah, so that's a new strategy I've put in place.
Right.
To having the ability to notice the noticeability around myself and around people. And that's the major thing that I have. I watch people, they go through same routine, like I know all my customers' coffees. I do, right? So the thing is, as soon as I see their car parked in the front, the coffee's already made. So I just go in and out. It is. Because I know what car, and see, it's part of noticeability. And that's why I got on very well with my mentor. Why? He had the same vision as what I did. And that's part of my business plan. Having the gift of using noticeability through the public and through yourself, and how you think in the different times of stress is a big key. It is. It's like one of my business partners, right? He goes through a certain routine as well. And I surprise him in what I do as well. He goes, did you know you do that? I watch. And I watch different people do different things. I do. And like when I'm out there socialising, I just watch their body language. I just watch the language they use. I don't hear what they're saying, but I just watch the emotions, because that's how I learn. I go by the emotions and body texture. I do. So, yeah.
Dom, another question.
Go for it. Far away.
You have a personal coach, or had a personal coach and a mentor.
Yes.
What was the different roles they played?
Okay, different roles. Yep, okay. So the role of my mentor is I kind of, because we were working together in my first job in the hospitality industry, my first hotel job, and I've known him for a long time. I followed him from when I started the hotel industry, so we've been about 23, I started 22, he didn't come in until, 23 years of age. I followed him all the way until I got to my business. I did, and that's what I did. I had the opportunity, when I left that job, I kept in touch, and I used to go to him. I never worked for the company because I resigned from the company because I had moved on throughout my career, but I went to him and I went, you know, I've done this, what do I do next? And he said, you've got to do this, 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 this. Okay, see ya. And then I did it, and then came back, and then he said, Dom, you've got to do this, 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 and this. He was inspired by me going to him on a weekly basis, and that pushed him out of the company, and because he wanted to achieve his dream. He could see how persistent I was, right? And that's the thing, to share my gifts with others. And that's how I'm doing. But with a personal coach, okay, it's more of a short-term process, okay, with a personal coach. It's getting the strategies in place, like I said, different business ideas and things, and having those strategies in place and take them away, like I have, all those folders you got there. I've noted like a diary, a logbook. I've taken all those different strategies with me, and they're with me. That's the difference between a personal coach and a mentor.
And was your mentor someone in the hospitality business?
Yes,
right.
Spot on.
Right.
Spot on. Anyone else? No? Well, thank you.
If you're feeling a bit weak at the knees, then you just remember Dom and you think, look, I've got to be a bit more persistent here and just get my act together. But I think too, when you look at the coaching materials, you'll see they also provided a chance for practicing social language, which wasn't there in TAFE, and also to practice that in a setting and then to go and apply it elsewhere. So it gave, you know, like a lot of words that you were using when you were describing that, what you learned, like rapport, those sorts of words would be ones that you learnt as part of your coaching work. So there's a lot of those type of skills we might associate with different sorts of programs, but it's interesting how it was used there. But I'll hand over now to Louise to wrap up for the evening.
Dom, that is just so inspiring. Thank you. You have given us ideas to use with our clients. Some of us work with preschoolers, some with primary schoolers and some with high schoolers, and we will use those ideas. And I love your idea of mentoring. Go you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well
Thank you.
done.
No worries.
Well done.
Very good.